Okay, so welcome to today's lesson. We're going to be talking about linear relations and the different forms in which we find our linear relations. And so let's just go ahead and get started. Remember that when points on a graph lie along a straight line, we're going to call them a linear function. Now again, in here, we're going to be talking about 8 different types of functions throughout the year, and it is very important that you can recognize them by their graph and by their equation. So again, linear function or linear relation is a straight line. The equations that we have for them, again, one could be written in the form of x plus y equals 8. And hopefully you remember that that is called standard form, okay? So our standard form is ax plus by equals c. So anytime I say, or the book says, or worksheet says, write in standard form, that is the form. So the x and the y must be on the same side, the x first, the y second. And the other thing that we do is where the integers, or a, b, and c, are all integers greater than 1. So we don't like them with fractions at the a, and we don't like it with negatives for the a, b, and c. And so a lot of times you do have to get a common factor, or think of it like a common denominator, what will go into all of them. So we'll talk about doing that. So let me just run through a couple of examples here for you. So we're writing these in standard form. Now at first look, number 1 looks to be in standard form, but again, we're going back to that they have to be greater than or greater than 1 for your a. And so this is actually a negative 5, so we wanted a positive 5. And so what we would need to do would be multiply the whole thing by a negative number. Or not a negative number, but a negative 1. So that's going to give us 5x minus 6y equals 12. Okay? So now if you look at number 2, we haven't talked about that yet. Maybe you recognize that is slope-intercept form. And so we're, again, going to need to put it in standard form, which means I need to get my x over to the other side with the y. So I am going to subtract the 2x from both sides. But again, my a value is not positive, so I'm going to, and you can do it like I did number 1, where I multiplied and showed that, but you don't have to for me. If you're okay with just changing everybody's sign, that works. Just be sure you change everybody's sign. Okay? Number 3, the only thing that we need to work with is this 24 is on the wrong side. So we're just going to move it over to the other side. Okay? Number 4, we're going to need to move the 7x over. So 7x plus 7y equals 7. Now this one would not be considered to be in the correct form only because they all divide by 7. So the actual form would be x plus y equals 1. Okay? Now, when there is a fraction, okay, you can do this one of several ways. One would be to multiply by 4, because that's my denominator on my x. I would probably go ahead and multiply everything by 12, my common denominator. And we've done that before when we solved our equations. So 12 times 3/4 would make it 9x, minus 1/3 of 12 would be 4y equals, and again, 12. Be sure you go all the way through your equation. Okay? Number 6, our y needs to be moved over to the other side. So 16x minus y equals a negative 2. Again, though, my x is not in greater than 1, so I'm going to need to multiply everything by 6. So I would get x minus 6y equals a negative 12. Okay? So that is how we do standard form.